We don't often realize what our programming or what programming does to us. And so I'm sitting here just thinking about positive vibes and positive influences and positive energy. And I was thinking about like television and love and, all kinds of thoughts just come together. But one that I want to talk about right now is like what you are feeding yourself mentally, because part of it came from like positive interactions. Like, do we have positive interactions at work? Are the people we're associating with saying good things about good people, or are they saying things about people that maybe aren't so good, regardless of whether those people are good or not? And we also like come home then, or at some point maybe we turn on the television, or we turn on our music, or we turn on whatever our distraction is that we associate towards. And what are we doing with that energy, and how are we receiving it, and what are we receiving? Because if you turn off your favorite television program, are you like, oh, that Jenny girl, she's so nice, she says the greatest things about people? And or are you turning off the programming and going, oh my gosh, that guy was so stupid, that boss was a jerk, and you're watching things. So that's programming that's coming to you through the people, mind you, who are satirically writing about life. And this is like, they're saying this is life. And you have to look around and go, is that life? Is that the life I want? Is that what I want to feed into? And so if we stop feeding into the programming will alter. It'll stop. It'll change. When programs become obsolete, they get discontinued. Some things run a course of 10 years, and 9-10 years in a program, that's like uncanny, unheard of. Like, oh wow, they lasted a long time. And there was an era of time when a lot of shows went that way. But now there are so many choices and so many streaming platforms. It's like you really can pick and choose, and you're not limited to one black and white television set in the living room where everybody's gathered around. Everybody's got their own device, listening to their own damn thing, saying whatever they want to whoever they want. And, we feed into it. And the girls are watching the girl videos because that's what they think they need to do. And the guys are watching, oh gosh, all kinds of stuff. I've seen it. And the girls are watching other things too, I promise you. I know, I'm not trying to be gender stereotypical on that. But it's about the programming. What are you feeding? And parents are like concerned about their kids. Like, what are my kids watching? I remember picking out a video game for a young boy, my son, and it was like his birthday, and I was like, told the guy at the counter, I'm like, I don't know, he just goes plays his games as long as he's having fun, I don't care, right? But it kind of did. I was kind of being cheeky, as like, oh, a disassociative parent, but I really do care, and I really do know, and I really did have an opinion, and I just didn't want to get into it, so just pretend like you're one of those people, I guess, and they chuck you up as a stereotype. But that's life. That's life. So you kind of have to take an interest in what your kids are putting into themselves. You have to have an interest in what you're putting into yourself. And I'm thinking about like brain food, mostly programming, because right now our society is more bent towards sending kids off to school and us going off to work. And a lot of our lives look very similar on the outside, in our, I don't know what the stats are anymore for, households and stuff, but, there's that American dream middle class road people walk. And then some people aspire to, there's upper middle class now, and there's, lower high class. I don't know. There's all kind. But what is that really? That just is a disparaging separation of people to just show, how resources are not really distributed with equanimity, on a basis of true value. And so, but it's all part of our programming, because if you do this kind of work, then this is what you deserve. If you do this, and the government said that, and the people said no, and the corporations realized they couldn't get away with that. So they started making adjustments, but the government hasn't changed that either. So anyway, I'm diverging quite a bit because it's all programming. It's all programming. And anyway, just pay attention. Pay attention. That's all I'm saying. See how you feel. That was my focus. Are you feeding yourself with things that are feeding your soul in a positive way? Are you happy with what you've got going on? And do you appreciate the people that you talk to? Do you get off the phone feeling better? Do you feel drained? So really paying attention and kind of closing out cycles for things that are no longer serving you, things that are draining you, clearing your plate of other people's worries. Like, some people call and they just want to vent, and our inclination is to get vested. And the same thing with our television programs. People are vested in their programmings. Like, one of the questions on a dating app thing was like, what 3 television programs could you watch, or what movie could you watch over and over again, or whatever. And it's like, no, man, I can't do that. And I had a guy that I stayed with that he watched the same programming over and over again. And I'm like, no, man, I can't do that. And I got a friend that listens to the same artist, and that's all he listened to. I'm like, no, man, I can't do that. Like, it for me, that doesn't work. For them, it works. It sets them where they want to be, and they don't budge from that, and they're growing from that spot. And that's perfectly understandable and perfectly fine, because I see that they're growing. It's when we're cycling around and we're recreating that negative environment around us, it's not creating positivity. And I'm not saying that, like, oh, they're doing exponentially well with their choice either. I'm just saying, like, I see them trying to make changes because I know them, you know what I'm saying? But if I were to look at them on the outside, I would say, no, they're not doing anything to change, because I see their cycles, too. So I can look at myself and say, oh, I see my cycles. I've got my own programming. I'm still working through a lot of, breaking my own cycles. I'm free of a lot of stuff, but some of those concerns and worries are still there, because there are things that I've been told throughout my life. That's my programming. So I'm looking at new relationships and looking at relationships in new ways and understanding how life changes. And I've disconnected from the mainstream programming, and I utilize my media resources for my own benefit and gain, to share, to learn, to reintegrate, to get an understanding for, So I'm purposeful. And that's another thing about, like, can we change the way we live? Yes, when we are purposeful. Can we change our habits? Yes, when we are intentional, when we are purposeful. We can continue to evolve, change, and make choices. But if we do the same thing every single day, blindly, because it's easy, because it's comfortable, because we get into that routine, before we know it, years, months have gone by, and we've lost track of time, and everything looks the same, but nothing is the same. Everything is changed, but nothing's changed. And it's just a weird kind of paradigm. And so we have the opportunity, to look at ourselves and run our life parallel and say, is this where I want to be? And then change the programming, change your inputs, redesign yourself in a practical way so that your intentions are in alignment, your manifestations can come into fruition. What you really, truly want and desire, it all becomes who you are. So anyway, peace and blessings, and just pay attention to the programming, pay attention to how it makes you feel, and change it up when you need to.